There we go. Brilliant. Lovely to see you this morning. So we're going to do a little bit today to focus on the spine. And that's because as we head into spring, of which officially it starts on Sunday, according to Chinese medicine, it's the season that is associated with the element of wood. Each, according to Chinese science and philosophy, each season is attributed to an element, and spring is associated to wood, and the equating bodily part that's linked to the season of spring, unsurprisingly, is our spine, our trunk, if you like. And I was doing a little bit of reading, and we're born with 33 bones in our back, but by the time we get to adulthood, most of us have got just 24, which are movable. The top 24 are movable, and the lower ones have fused to make our lower back and our sacrum. But when you think about the natural architecture of the spine, it's quite a phenomenal part of the body. It allows us so much movement. You know, we can fold forwards, we can bend backwards, depending on obviously the health of our spine. We can twist, we can get that lovely lateral movement through the spine where we reach down from side to side, shortening one side and lengthening the other. It's quite an amazing kind of architectural feature of our body. And the wonderful yoga teacher and dancer Vanda Scarabelli, who started a style of yoga called Scarabelli Yoga, said you're only as young as your spine is flexible. So it's incumbent on all of us to try and keep our spine nice and healthy. So we're going to start by lying down today and just bring our awareness. We're not going to stay on our backs for very long, but really just to bring our awareness to that part of the body today. So if you've got something to pop underneath the back of your head, again, some of us have a more rounded thoracic spine, our middle back, and that can sometimes make it a little bit uncomfortable to bring the back of the head flat to the floor. Some of us have a flatter back of the head. So, you know, some of us simply want something soft under our heads. So whichever camp you happen to fall into, if you want to put something under your head there, you kind of go ahead. Make sure your neck is free and have a little kind of move around there till you feel nice and comfortable, drawing your chin ever so slightly down and towards your chest. And we'll keep the feet on the floor just for the purposes of this morning. You can widen your feet and bring your knees to touch to start with if you like, and taking the arms a little way away from the body will allow the arms to rest on the floor to begin with, just turning the palms up towards the ceiling. So we're beginning to open up through the chest. I'll just come to seated so I can talk to you there. So closing the eyes if you're comfortable this morning. Lovely. Welcoming the end of the week, maybe a busy one. And welcoming in some much needed time for yourselves, time where we're going to focus a little bit on thinking about the back seam of the body, our back, our spinal column. So just bring your awareness to the back of the body, to all of those points of contact that you've got with the floor beneath you, and we'll all feel it quite differently. Our spines, though most of us will have those 24 movable vertebrae. We're all different shapes and sizes, and our spines are slightly different in terms of shape. But for most of us, our spine is in an S shape, soft S shape. So if you bring your awareness to the very back of your head, just resting flush to the floor or on your soft support, just make sure that you've got your very middle of the back of your head on the floor there. You're not tilting your chin from left to right. And then as you begin to travel down your spine, beginning with those 7 vertebrae you've got in your neck, your cervical spine, notice the little curvature you've got in your neck, and they work terribly hard to support the weight of the head. So we're going to do a little bit to release any tension that might have gathered up through the week in our neck and around our shoulders. And then traveling down the back, the next point of contact we've got will be our middle back, our thoracic spine. We've got 12 vertebrae there. Back of the rib cage. And so as you begin to just settle into your breath, you might even feel that there's a little bit of movement through that part of your spine as you breathe in and out. We tend to focus on the front body opening and lifting as you inhale and exhale, but not forgetting that our lungs sit quite far back in our bodies. So there's going to be a little bit of expansion into the middle back and outwards into the side of the ribs as we inhale and exhale. So you might notice a gentle movement as you breathe in and breathe out. And then as you travel down the spine, you might notice, some of you, that you've got quite a curve in your lower back. Maybe there's a space between the waistband of your trousers and the floor. We've got our 5 vertebrae that comprise the lower back there, our lumbar spine, kind of thickest part of our spine, the vertebrae that almost have to work the hardest to support the rest of the spinal column. And it tends to be around that area that many of us begin to suffer from back pain and get quite compressed. So we're going to see if we can think about lengthening through that part of the back today. So allowing the natural curvature of the spine to settle. We're not trying to flatten the back completely into the floor. We're just enjoying that lovely sense of curvature and gentle S shape through the back of the body. As you soften into your breath, using the exhale to let go of anything that might have been bothering you, that has been niggling away at you this week. Not letting that eat into your practice this morning. And you might notice some pockets of tension, maybe in the back of the body, around the lower back, maybe in the hips. Perhaps if you've been sitting at a computer, it might be the upper back and the neck if you've been hunched over a laptop. So seeing if you can use this practice to just release any of those pockets of tension there that might have gathered up, you might have accrued during this week just gone. Let's just take 1 or 2 more breaths there, allowing the back body to settle, to sink, to release, and feel that corresponding opening through the front of the body as you do so. Lovely. So start nice and gently, just beginning to warm up through the back of the body. So if you have got something underneath the back of your head, just in the next breath or 2, just slide it away so the back of the head is resting on the floor, chin tucked in. We'll bring the arms down alongside you, turning the palms down now. And we'll walk the feet in, hip width apart, so your heels are quite close to your sit bones. You might need to readjust your pelvis there, knees pointing up towards the ceiling. So let's start with the lower back. Let's see if we can begin to free up some space and bring some movement there. So we'll start just by arching the back. So begin to puff your chest up towards the ceiling. And you're trying to imprint your lower back. It's almost like you want to lengthen your tailbone down the mat. So you might even be able to slide a hand underneath you, space between the back and the floor. And then we try and press the back down into the mat. And instead, we try and curl the tailbone up towards your face. So you're getting a little arching, a little rounding through the lower back. Lovely. So as you inhale, we puff up the chest and we feel that lovely arching through the spine. And then as you exhale, we try and flatten the back, put your belly button to your spine and try and curl the tailbone up towards you, up between your legs. Lovely. So that little pelvic tilt, so it might be quite a big, generous movement. Let's do a couple more with the breath. You might find it's a little smaller. So it's a little rippling action. The hips aren't lifting. Try and relax your buttocks so the buttocks aren't gripping. Let's do one more. Inhaling, chest puffs up. We get that lovely arching through the back. It's the same kind of movement as we do when we do our cat-cow. Lovely. And then allow the back to settle again. Just feel that natural curvature of the spine. We're going to come up and make that movement a little bigger. So pressing into all 4 corners of your feet. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, begin with that little pelvic tilt, curl the tailbone up and see if you can come up into a very gentle shoulder bridge. It might just be lifting your bottom off the floor, keeping the tailbone tucked up. Take an inhale there. And as you exhale, with the same control as you went up, see if you can release all the way back down, lengthening the tailbone down towards your heels. So take an inhale, hips on the floor. Exhale, start with that little pressing of the back into the floor, tailbone curling up, begin to lift up, maybe coming up a little bit higher. Avoid pressing your fingertips into the floor. Take an inhale. Exhale slowly again. Think about lengthening the space between the vertebrae. It can get very compressed, and that's when we start to get that pinching, that pain. One more time, take an inhale. Exhaling, making sure you're pressing to the base of the big toe, keeping the knees pointing forwards. We ripple up, maybe coming up just to that flat part of the upper back between the shoulder blades, the highest point. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's roll all the way back down. Lovely. Beautiful. Take an inhale. This time as you exhale, we'll start to lift the hips and maybe take the arms all the way up and back. So we're beginning to lengthen through the sides of the body, keep the chin tucked in. And as you exhale and lower the hips with control, bring the arms down. We're going to do that twice more. If it doesn't feel nice to move the arms, then you just move the hips. So take an inhale. Exhale as you lift up. Beautiful. Inhale at the top, lengthening the fingertips back. And as you exhale, let's roll all the way back down. Lovely. Inhaling. Exhaling. You're going to come up and pause. So reaching the arms back. Back of the hands finding the floor. So if you've got to take the arms out into a nice wide V shape. So if you can lift the hips a little higher, reach back through the fingertips. Keep the arms where they are now. As you slowly, slowly release the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Getting that length through the side body, length through the spine. And when the hips touch down, stretch out one leg and then the other. Give the ankles a little circle, give the wrists a little twirl, one way and then the other. Beautiful. And then take an inhale as you reach back through the fingertips and point the toes away from you. And as you exhale, let's bring the right knee in towards the chest. Give it a little squeeze. So we're getting a nice stretch out of those muscles around the lower back. And we'll start just by gently circling that right knee. You can use one hand, you can use both hands. Little circle, trying to keep the weight even across the back. And the other way. Lovely. And then circle the foot. Bring that movement into your ankle. Keeping the toes moving. We'll go one way and then the other, getting into the joint. So again, spring is also associated, according to Chinese medicine, with the arms, the legs, and the joints of the body. Lovely. So holding on around the back of the leg, keeping the hands quite low down towards the bottom. Let's start to take the leg up into a hamstring stretch. You can keep a generous bend in the knee. You can rebend that left knee and bring the foot to the floor. Let's point and flex now the right foot. So again, thinking about the joints, opening and closing through the ankle, keeping it nice and slow. Lovely. And then flexing the foot, just pushing the heel up a little ways. You begin to press the back of the leg against your hands, and the hands press back, opening up some space in the back of the knee, but keep the face soft and the shoulders relaxed. Lovely option to stay there, or slowly lifting those towards knee and maybe sliding the hands above the knee joint, keeping that other heel on the floor, pressing down gently, anchoring you down, so we're getting a nice stretch out through the hamstrings. We've got tight hamstrings that can sometimes pull our back. Let's take one more breath there. And then slowly, slowly release. Head and shoulders come down. Knee comes to chest. Left hand to right knee. Let's come into a little twist. So release your right arm just alongside you. And we'll roll to the left side, bringing the knee with you. So not worrying if the shoulder blade lifts or the knee is away from the floor. Just getting kind of that movement through the back that feels comfortable for you this morning. And if you want to, as you inhale, gently draw the knee down towards the floor. And as you exhale, we release. So just let the shoulder blade, the right shoulder blade, sink down. And you can rock between the two. Inhale, you draw the knee down. And exhale, you back off. One more like that. Or just keeping still there, enjoying that sense of gentle movement of the breath in the body without moving the body itself. We'll roll all the way onto our backs and extend and open into that full body stretch. Again, you can wiggle the fingers, rotate the ankles. Little bit of movement there, then we'll take a nice big breath in and breathing out, we'll bring the left knee in. So giving a little squeeze. So again, as you stretch that right heel away from you and bring the left knee in, we're getting that nice stretch through the muscles of the low back. And then we'll start The little circles with the left knee, you can just use your left hand, you can use both hands. You can open and close the knee if that's more comfortable on your hip joint than going round in a circle. Lovely, and then we'll take it round the opposite way. Might be big movement, might be small movements, and then we'll bring the knee back to centre, and then we'll move the ankle. So just the foot going round in a circle then. Oh, and this side always feels far more crunchy than my other ankle. You might notice those kind of imbalances in your body as well. We've all got them, I think. And then we'll come back to center, holding on around the back of the leg, hands low down to the bottom to support your hamstring as we take the leg slowly up. And again, you can re-bend your right knee, bring the foot to the floor as we just point and flex now. So notice what happens to the back of the leg and then the front of the ankle there. And then we'll keep the foot gently flexed, toes pulled towards the face, anchoring down through the right heel. You can stay there, relaxing the face, chin tucked in, or slowly roll yourself up, bring your nose towards your knee, sliding the hands up the leg, trying to keep the elbows tucked in towards you, heel of that right foot pushing down into the floor. Lovely. We'll take one more inhale there. And as you exhale, lower the head, lower the shoulders, bring that left knee with you back to the chest, right hand to the left knee. Let's come into that little twist. So as you roll over to the outside edge of that right leg, carrying the knee with you. Option to stay there and just enjoy the stillness. Moving gently with me if you wish. Inhaling, we bring the left knee down towards the floor. And as you exhale, you just release. So you can do that twice more. So it's not a big ballistic movement. It's just a gentle rock. Kind of just coming into that twist. And then releasing from that twist. And then we'll roll all the way onto our back. Keep the left knee where it is. Bring the right knee to join it. One hand on each knee. Just circle the knees round one way. So the knees are together. Getting a little massage through the lower back and the tops of the buttocks as you take the knees round one way. And then change direction. Now, depending on how you're feeling, energy-wise, on space in the room, we're going to come up to seated. So you can roll to one side, or if you want to have another little massage, hook your ankles, hold on behind your knees, and maybe rock up and down a couple of times, keeping your knees in towards your chest as you roll back, a little bit of momentum, coming all the way up to a seated position when you're ready. And again, if you've got your little props, if you want to pop your props underneath your bottom so you can sit up nice and tall there, now's the time to get hold of them. I'm going to sit cross-legged this morning, but as ever, if you want to stretch the legs out, feel free. And just bringing the hands onto your knees. So if you want to stretch the legs out, you can always bring your feet to the floor and just cup your hands around your knees there if that's more comfortable. So hands onto the knees, just sitting up nice and tall, lengthening up and out to the floor. But just notice if, like me, I've got a terrible habit of just pushing my chest forwards and arching my back. I'm sure it's because I'm small. So if you can feel that going on, think about length, but then a softness. So just allow the front body to meet the back body, a little bit of softness there. Beautiful. Sliding the hands back down towards the tops of your thighs, fingertips pointing towards your knees. Let's straighten the arms, push the hands down and begin to bring the shoulders all the way up towards your ears. Gathering up all of that tension, take an inhale. And as you exhale, soften the shoulders, try and keep the heart lifted as the shoulders drop. Inhale, pushing the shoulders up towards the ears as you press the hands into the thighs. And as you exhale, spine stays long, heart stays lifted as you feel the shoulders melt down the back. Lovely, just one more inhale. And this time as you exhale, soften the shoulders all the way down, lift up nice and tall through the spine, take an inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to take a twist to the right. Left hand comes to your right hand, your right thigh or knee. And we take the other hand behind. I'm going to come on to tented fingers there. So I've just got a little bit of help to shift me forwards and up, keeping a nice length through my spine. Gaze might be towards the side wall, or you might start to turn your head and look over your back shoulder. Let's take a nice deep in breath, lifting up and out of your hips. Keep the rib cage nice and soft. And as you exhale, just see if you can soften into that twist a little bit more. We'll do one more. Nice big breath in, lengthen up through the spine, lift out of the hips. Exhale, you might be able to rotate just a fraction more. Now that left hand, press down a little bit more firmly, keep the body where it is, but as you inhale, release the right arm up. Lateral stretch now, all the way over to the left. Keep pressing the right knee or thigh away from you. Open up some space in the top of the hip. Lovely, come all the way back through center. Keep that right arm all the way up. And you're going to turn the palm sort of away from you a little bit and drop your chin down towards your chest as you bring your right fingertips just to your right shoulder there. And then lift the chin, lift the chest, and try and have that right elbow pointing more or less up towards the ceiling there. So option to support with the left hand there, just helping kind of guide that elbow up towards the ceiling without the body leaning forward. So those of you more open in the shoulder, you can take the left arm out to the side, turn the palm away from you, lean forwards, and see if you can hook your fingertips. And then sit up nice and tall. If that doesn't work for you, you can always hold on to your t-shirt or simply bring that left hand just to the underside of the right arm. So sitting up nice and tall, make sure the chin isn't jutting forwards. Take an inhale, exhale back into that side stretch. And imagine you're kind of coming over between two panes of glass. Inhale through center. Exhaling into that side stretch. Keep pressing down into that right buttock. Oh, that's a good one, isn't it? Inhale through center. Remember, you might be holding onto the arm. Exhale. Lovely. Let's come all the way back up through center. And we'll release the arms out to the side. Nice T shape with the arms. And then draw the right arm across the chest. Left hand can support either below or above the elbow. Nice stretch for the upper back. Drop that right shoulder down. Sit up nice and tall. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Body doesn't follow, so keep the spine nice and tall. Stretch out through the neck. Beautiful. Let's come all the way back up through center. Reach the arms all the way out to the side. Turn the palms away from you and reach behind you. Seeing again if you can interlace the hands. Drop the knuckles down. Open up through the chest. Maybe a little arching through the back. You can lift your chin. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, release the hands to the floor. Stretch the legs out. Give the knees a little bounce. And then recross them the opposite way, the way that feels a little strange. Lovely. Again, hands onto the knees, sitting up nice and tall. We'll take an inhale there. And as we exhale, we're going to take that twist round to the left. So right hand this time comes to knee or thigh, wherever it reaches. Other hand behind you. And using that hand behind you, almost like a second spine to keep you right on top of your sitting bones there. Lovely. Let's take an inhale as you just press down into the left fingertips, lift up a little taller. And as you exhale, see if you can turn the body round. So getting that lovely rotation through the middle back. Let's do one more inhale there, lifting up and out of the hips. Exhale, you can maybe look over that back shoulder. Now using that right hand now, pressing down a little more firmly, left arm reaches up and over. The temptation is that left knee wants to lift. So keep anchoring yourself down, using that right hand. There's a little added weight there. Lovely. Come all the way up. Keep that left arm reaching up. And again, we're just going to almost turn the palm towards the back of the room. Drop your chin down and see if you can just find your fingertips might just find the top of your shoulder there. And then we sit ourselves up, lifting the chin, and try and direct that left elbow more or less up towards the ceiling there. It will be slightly different depending on mobility in the shoulders and triceps there. Some of you might be able to take the right arm out to the side, turn the palm away from you. I find it helps to lean forwards. See if you can hook your fingers and then sit up nice and tall again. So one side might work, the other side might not, in which case just release. Lovely. So we'll sit up nice and tall, take an inhale. Exhale, take that little side stretch, that lateral movement through the spine. Lovely. Body stays upright. Inhale through center. Exhaling over to the right. So we're getting a nice stretch through the hip and into the tricep. Inhale and exhale. Lovely. We'll come all the way back up, releasing the arms out. Lovely T shape, and then bring the left arm across the chest, and you can catch hold just below or above the elbow. Lovely. So soften the left shoulder. So we're getting a little stretch out through the upper back. And then you can drop right ear to right shoulder without the body following. So sitting up nice and tall, press into that left sit bone. Nice stretch out through the little muscles in the neck that work so hard. Lovely. We'll sit all the way up, taking the arms out to the side once more, turning the palms away from you. We'll interlace the hands behind you. We're going to shrug the shoulders down the back as you tug the knuckles down. You might even lift the arms a little bit away from you there, or keep them close to your bottom. Lovely. Take an inhale as you lift up through the chest. And as you exhale, release fingertips to the floor behind you. Pop your legs out, give them a little bounce, and then we'll come round onto all fours. Padding up your knees if you need to with your little props there. Hands under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And just finding that lovely tabletop position through the spine. So quite often here we drop the head. So see if you can just roll your gaze forward. So the tips of your ears and the crown of the head are pointing forwards and tailbone is lengthening back behind you. Pressing into your hands, you're not disappearing into your shoulders. Hug your belly button up towards your spine. Lovely. And let's start that lovely rippling action that we almost tried at the beginning, lying on the floor. So at this time, as you drop your belly, lift your tailbone and draw the heart forwards. Keep pressing into the hands. Perhaps you get a deeper arch through the back. Take an inhale in that cow pose. Exhale, angry cat. So that's on the tailbone, tucks under. This time we drop the gaze, looking towards your knees or up towards your belly button. And then inhale, release, slowing your roll now, just rolling with the breath. Trying not to shorten the back of the neck by throwing the head up as you inhale. And then exhale, pressing into the hands, keeping the shoulders above your wrists. We tend to drop the weight back there. Let's do a couple more. Maybe just closing the eyes. Imagine that lovely space that you're creating through the back of the body and the front of the body. Lovely. One more. And exhale. Lovely. And then finding that lovely tabletop position. So tips of the ears, crown of the head forwards. Then take your right leg back behind you. So tuck the toes and slide the leg away from you without rotating the hip up towards the ceiling. And you might want a little playful rock back and forth. Taking care that the head hasn't dropped. So again, thinking about just looking gently just beyond your hands there towards the top of your mat. Lovely. And then coming to stillness, you're going to slide your right foot over to the left, crossing over the left foot, pressing the heel away from you, firm up through the belly, and just turn to look towards your right heel there. Just notice if your weight has rocked back, and see if you can keep your shoulders above your wrists as you press that heel away from you. Lovely. Head comes to center. Slide that right leg all the way back in line with the hip, and then we'll lift the leg up, level with the hip. Take an inhale. Exhale, knee to chest, nose to knee. Round up through the back. Inhale, extends, look forwards. Exhale as you hug everything to center, so you're getting a lovely rounding through the back. Lovely. One more. Inhale. And this time as you exhale, we're going to hold that knee in towards your chest. Try and squeeze your heel towards your bottom. An option with that left hand to take the right knee and see if you can bring it in towards the chest a little bit more, a little bit of balance. Heel to bottom, knee to chest. Take one more. Inhale. And as you exhale, let's release. Knee to floor, hands down under the shoulders. Take an inhale. Exhale, slide the hips to the heels. Take a child pose. You can prop yourself up on your elbows. Give the wrists a little cooling there. Little wiggle. And then just settle into your child pose. Walking the arms forwards. Palms flat to the floor. Or a little bit more energy today. Fingertips pressing down. Lifting elbows and forearms. Sinking hips to heels, and just take a couple of breaths there, feeling the spaciousness of the breath in the back of the body, the sides of the body. Lovely, again, creating some space simply by using the breath. And then flattening the hands if you had your palms lifted. We'll draw ourselves back up onto all fours, sliding hands under shoulders, coming back to that tabletop gaze slightly forwards, sliding now the left leg back behind you, again, keeping the hip points facing down towards the floor. You might want that little rock back and forth. So we're just getting a nice stretch out through the calf, opening up the back of the knee towards the ceiling there. And then keeping the weight forward. So weight stays over the hands. We slide the left leg, over towards the right, crossing over that right foot, ball a foot to floor, press the heel away from you. And then if the neck is okay, we look towards that left heel. So you're looking over your right shoulder. Keep the weight forwards, keep the heart and the chest coming forwards. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly bring the head to center, slide that left leg back, just level with the hip. Going to lift it up without sagging in the middle. Take an inhale, exhale, knee to chest, nose to knee. Rounding up, push into your hands. Inhale, extend the leg, take the chest forwards, look forwards. Exhale, squeeze everything into center, pressing into the hands. Last one, inhale, extend and open. And this time as we exhale, knee comes to chest, we'll pause, press into your hands. Bring your heel towards your bottom, and maybe, balance is okay, right hand takes hold of left knee. And see if you can bring it in towards your chest a little bit more, so we're getting a nice lateral stretch through those muscles of the lower back. Take one more inhale. Exhale as you release. Lovely. Hands underneath shoulders, knees under hips. Take an inhale, look forwards. Exhale, take that child pose again. Again, option to take it off the wrists, onto the elbows, giving hands a little wiggle there. And then coming back into that child pose, arms extended. Again, palms flat, elbows resting on the floor, or again, a little bit more energetic, fingertips pressing forwards and down as you hug your hips back towards your heels. Let's take a nice deep breath in here together. And releasing, feel the front body just soften down onto your thighs or between your knees. Just once more, inhale, pressing down with the fingertips, back, side of the ribs opening. Exhale to release, lovely, palms coming down, coming back onto all fours. Option now, we're going to come into a downward dog. If you prefer to stay on all fours with ankles, backs, or whatever's going on today, feel free to do a couple more. There's lovely cat-cow. If you're with me, tuck the toes under. Take an inhale as you look forwards. And this time as you exhale, we'll shift the hips up and back, downward dog. And you might want to take that dog for a little walk this morning, bending one knee and straightening the other. So you're trying to press one heel back and away from you and then the other. Trying to bring that heel down in alignment with the back of the leg so the heel's not flaring out to the sides. Lovely. And then let's take a generous bend in the knees. Just try and press your rib cage back towards your thighs as you lengthen up through the spine. So hips going up and back, sides of the body nice and open. And from there, we might try and allow the heels to sink down towards the floor. Mine aren't touching. It really doesn't matter if they don't. So taking your gaze between your heels, and imagine now you're going to lead this next movement with the back of your neck. So as you inhale, we start to travel to plank pose, rolling the body forwards. And at the top of the inhale, when you're in that plank, that's when you unfurl the spine and look towards the top of the mat. And exhale, hips come up and back, downward dog. You can do this from your knees. Inhaling, so back of the neck leading the way as you ripple forwards, look forwards, top of that inhale. Exhaling, hips draw all the way back, downward dog. Last time, inhale, so it's a real ripple forward. It's almost like arching your back. Beautiful. We're going to pause in that plank, gazing towards the top of the mat. Take one more inhale as you press into your hands, and as you exhale, lower your knees, lower your chest all the way down to the floor, stacking one hand on top of the other, forehead resting on your hands. Just stretch one leg back behind you and then the other, so you've opened up some space in the top of your hips there. So I'm going to strengthen now the back of the body, starting with the buttocks and the backs of the legs and then moving up the spine. So as you inhale, start to stretch the right leg all the way back and then lifting from the top of the hip. Think about length rather than height. And as you exhale, bring the leg all the way back down. So inhale, start to stretch the left foot away from you and then lift the leg, keeping the knee straight. Exhale to lower. So alternating sides with the breath. As you inhale, one leg lifts, keeping the front of the pelvis nice and steady. And exhale to lower. So imagine someone is gently pulling your toes away from you, and from that length, the leg lifts. Let's do one more each side. So right leg lifting. Inhale. And squeeze the bottom as you stretch the leg away from you. The legs are about hip width apart. So we've got the option to stay there. So lower the left leg, option to carry on like that. Or if you want a little bit more, take the arms out in front of you. coming up onto your tented fingertips again. So arms about shoulder width apart, feet about hip width apart. You can keep forehead to floor or lift your chest, keeping the gaze down. So this time it's opposite arm and leg, right leg, left arm. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. Other side. So it's almost like a little Superman stance you've got going on there. Inhale and exhale. So firm up through the belly so you're not wobbling from side to side. And just continue now. So we're working again all of those deep postural muscles if you're lifting the arms and working the back chain of muscles in the leg. Let's do one more with the right leg, left arm lifting. And then one more with the left leg and right arm lifting. Lovely. Come all the way down. Flatten the hands, resting one hand on top of the other. Point the toes up towards the ceiling and have a little windshield wiper from side to side. Beautiful. Then extend the legs back behind you. A little quad stretch while we're here. So keeping the left hand where it is, bring the right heel in towards your bottom and then reach around with that right hand and see if you can take hold around your foot and draw that heel in towards your bottom, stretching the knee away from you. If you can't quite get your foot and you're wearing long trousers, you can hook your fingers in your trousers or keep the head on the hand and just bring your heel in towards your bottom. So wherever we are, we're getting a nice stretch out through that big thigh muscle, opening up through the front of the hip. We've got the option to stay there this morning, or if you want, again, a little bit for the back, a little back bend this time. Take the left arm out in front of you, again, coming onto your tented fingertips. Press into your fingertips, lift your chest, just gently look forwards. So option to stay there, or begin to lift the thigh away from the floor, pushing your foot against your hand resisting, coming into a half bow pose. Lovely. Those of you in bow, take one more inhale. Exhale, slowly release. And again, resting head on hands will change sides. So left heel coming in, keeping the knee on the floor. You can either just flex the foot, squeeze the heel in, or reach back with the left hand, taking hold of the foot, drawing that heel in towards your bottom and lengthening the knee away from you. If you want a little bit more, you simply press your hips in towards the floor. So option to stay there, or this time it's the right arm that extends. Again, tented fingertips there for support. Lifting the head, lifting the chest, just looking slightly forwards. Option to stay there, or begin to lift from the top of the hips. You're pressing the foot into the hand resisting there. You might lift the chest a little higher. Half bow, take one more inhale. Exhale, slowly release. Support the head on your hands. Flick both feet up towards the ceiling and just have a little windshield wiper from side to side. Flicking the feet gently from left to right, little massage. Then extend the legs back behind you, hands alongside the shoulders. Let's push back up onto all fours, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. If you need a little child pose after that back bend, feel free. Joining us in downward dog. And from downward dog, we're going to have a little walk forwards, feet towards hands, coming to the top of your mat, into a forward fold. If that's not for you this morning, lift your head and just rest your hands above your knees or hook your elbows just above your knees so your head is lifted. If you're okay in that forward fold, bend your knees and maybe add that little sway. You can cradle your elbows, you can let the arms hang. Just really release through the back, but keep the knees bent. Beautiful. Then toes pointing forwards, feet about hip width apart. We'll slide the hands up to your thighs. Fingertips pointing down, straighten the legs. Think about taking the chest, crown of the head forwards, coming into that lovely flat back. Take an inhale as you slide the shoulders away from the ears. And as you exhale, soften the knees all the way back down into that forward fold. Keep the knees bent, let the arms dangle as you roll your way up to stand. Slowly, slowly, slowly coming all the way up, or just adjust the camera. Lovely. So taking a moment to be down on the floor, so just letting blood pressure settle there. And then from there, let's come all the way up. Beautiful. Then take both arms up towards the ceiling, bending the knees. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to twist to the right. So take the right arm back, left arm forwards, palms down. hip points pointing forwards, and try and draw the little finger edge of your hand back. So we're opening up through the chest. Kate Winslet, Titanic. Lovely. That back arm, that right arm, it's going to come down to come up, bending the knees. Inhale, sweep both arms up, straighten the legs. Exhale, take a twist to the left, right arm forwards, left arm back, palms down. Draw the little fingers back, open up through the chest. And then this back arm, this left arm comes down to come up. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. This time as we exhale, all the way down into that forward fold, heart leads the way. Hands to the shins this time. Inhale as you come into that lovely flat back, firm up through the belly. Exhale as you fold, soften the knees. Press into your feet, rise up to stand. You can sweep the arms out in front of you, out to the side. Exhaling, hands to heart. Lovely, let the arms fall alongside the body, bend the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, we're going to take that twist to the right, palms down, little finger edge of the hand pulling back. Back arm leads the way. Inhale, rise to come up. Exhale, take that twist to the left. Palms down, little fingers pulling back. Lovely. Back hand leads the way. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, coming all the way down. Now, options here, hand to shins, hand to thighs, or fingertips to floor. Point your palms in towards one another and press the fingertips down. Elongate through the spine, come into that flat back. Take an inhale. This time as you exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands and step back into your downward facing dog. Hips nice and high. Option to drop to the knees. Looking between your heels, back of the neck leads the way. Inhale to plank. Roll the body forwards. Top of the inhale, look forwards. Exhale, shift back. Little bit of strength. Downward facing dog. And again, inhale. So try and come forwards. Slowly and with control, unfurl the spine. Exhale, all the way back, downward dog. Last time, inhale, rolling forwards, top of the inhale, look forwards, press into your hands. And as you exhale, you can lower your knees first as you come all the way down to the floor. Flatten the feet. Take the hands off the mat. Hands level with the shoulders. Again, up on those tented fingertips, elbows pointing up. Inhaling, coming into that little cobra, so pressing into the hands, nice open-hearted cobra. Exhale as you release. You can adjust the hands, taking them wider or a little closer. Inhale, press into the tops of the feet as you lift the chest. Look forwards rather than up. Exhale as you slowly lower down. One more. Inhale. Pressing the hips down, pressing into the tops of the feet. Exhale to lower, hands under the shoulders. Come onto all fours as you inhale. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Look forwards. We'll take a walk forwards now. Coming to the top of your mat into that forward fold. Take an inhale. Exhale as you fold over the legs. Deep knee bend. Inhale, rise all the way up. And as you exhale, bring the hands to your heart. Bring your hands to your hips. And we'll take a step back. I'm going to step back with my right leg and turn to the long edge of my mat. So if you need to step back with your left leg so you can face me, absolutely fine, no problems. We've got the feet nice and wide apart. Any back issues, you can slightly turn your toes in, your heels out. Otherwise, toes facing forwards. Hands on the hips. Take a nice inhale as you lift up the arches of your feet, lift the chest. And as we exhale, hinging forward from the hips, pause in that flat back. Crown of the head forwards. Option to bring your hands onto your thighs for support. Lovely. So you're really firming up through the belly. Option to keep the hands where they are, bring them to your thighs, or for a little bit more strength, reach the arms out level with the shoulders, palms down. Take an inhale there. And an exhale as you reach the fingertips apart. Lovely. Take one more inhale. And this time as you exhale, we'll all come down into a forward fold. Fingertips finding the floor. If you need to, bring something underneath your hands, your props, so you can lift your chest a little bit, feel free. So we're going to walk the hands forward. So just elongate through the spine, bringing the chest forwards there. Hands underneath the shoulders, so we've got a nice long body. And then looking towards the right hand, as you inhale, let's twist. Take the right arm all the way up. And as you exhale, bring that right hand all the way back down to the floor or your prop. Left hand leading this time, all the way up. Take an inhale. You might follow the movement of the hand with the gaze. Exhale as you come down. Let's do one more each way. Keep the chest forwards, keep the spine nice and long as you take that lovely movement up with the right arm and then lower. Last time with the left. Beautiful. Hands coming down under the shoulders. We're going to toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, the feet together, together. Bending the knees generously. We're going to lift the heels up and then see if you can bring your bottom down onto your heels. So we're in a little squat position, fingertips on the floor. If that doesn't work for you today, you can either drop straight down into hero pose onto your knees or just come to seated. So if you're with me in that little squat position, you can keep your fingertips on the floor or one hand to one knee, other hand to the other knee. Press the knees down and away from you as you lift up through the chest. Oh, great one to work the feet. You can stay there just working on balance. Great one to strengthen the arches of the feet or bring the hands together at the heart. If you want a little challenge, take an inhale. As you exhale, twist to the right. Option to stay there, or back of the left hand comes to outside of right thigh and reach the right arm back behind you. Ooh, beautiful. Let's come all the way back to center. Fingertips find the floor. Let's lift the hips. Have a little walk out through the feet. Take the sting out of the arches of the feet. Lovely. And then back into that forward fold with the big toes and the ankles touching. We're going to bend the knees, lift the heels. And again, sink down into that little squat. Remember, options, you can just stay seated, come into hero pose, or once more, hand to knee. Push the knees away from you. So if you can lift the chest, we're really working through the spine here, and then see if you can bring your hands to your heart, firm up through the belly. Oh, down, there we go, beautiful. Take an inhale. Exhale, take that little twist to the left this time. Try and keep the knees pointing forwards. Option, back of the right hand comes to the outside of the thigh. Left arm reaches back behind you. If you're feeling super challenged this morning, you can look towards that back hand. I'm not feeling quite so brave on this side. Lovely. Let's bring the hands back to the heart. Lift up nice and tall. Lovely. And then we'll bring the fingertips down to the floor. We'll just drop down onto our knees, coming back onto all fours. If you need to move on your mat, feel free. And give the feet a little flap there. Lovely. And then options for ankles. You can simply just pop your feet to one side and swing the legs out in front of you, or cross the ankles and roll over your feet and pop both legs out in front of you. So we're going to come into a pose called staff pose now, which is or stick pose, which is a really good one for the back. Again, feel free to pop a prop underneath your bottom. So we'll slide the hands back towards your hips. Some of you might be able to have your palms flat to the floor, pressing down with your palms and lifting up through the front body. My hands don't go there, my arms are too short, so I'm on fists. Pressing my fist down, so it's quite a strong pose. Spread your toes and try and pull the little toes back towards you. So all of the foot is active. Flexing the feet, pushing the heels away from you, drawing all 10 toes towards you. Pressing down with your fists or your palms. So it's a really strong pose to work those muscles through the back. Option to stay there, or if you want to strengthen the back even more, interlace your thumbs, hook one thumb over the other. Spirit eagle pose it's called, and take the arms up towards the ceiling. Upper arms hug the ears, and imagine you want to tug at your thumbs apart. Lovely. Every inhale lifts you up out of your hips a little more. And the exhale, we try and soften, but try and keep the heart and the back lifted. Let's take one more inhale. It's a strong pose. Exhale. If you've got the arms lifted like me, slowly, slowly bring the arms down, soften the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And this time as you exhale, a real generous, soft forward fold over the legs. So allow those knees to bend as much as you need to, as you just settle the body forwards over the legs there. Chin tucked in ever so slightly. Again, tips of the ears, crown of the head pointing forward. Lovely. Just allow the back to relax there. And then slowly we'll walk the hands back towards you, drawing that right heel in towards you, left leg extended. You can cross the foot over, pressing into the base of the big toe. You can even lean into that left buttock and swing the left heel around. So you're sitting between your heels. Weight even between both sit bones, sitting up nice and tall. It's a deep twist, this one. Hand or elbow draws that right knee in towards the chest. And then right arm circles all the way up. Chest follows as you exhale. Fingertips can find the floor. Or if, like me, you prefer to wrap the hand around your low back, even tucking it into your left waist, if that's available, feel free. Try not to lean into that left buttock, so sit heavily into that right buttock there. You might need to move your heel a little bit. So it's a deep twist. It's a lovely one to ring out through the spine, this one. Maybe closing the eyes just as we settle there for a couple more breaths. Lovely. Let's slowly, let's come all the way back through center. And then just take the body around the opposite way. So it almost gives the spine a chance to unravel. It's a lovely open twist. More space. Beautiful. Bring the fingertips to the floor. Pop the legs out in front of you so you can give them a shake. And then we'll try that on the other side. So left heel slides in. Option to keep the foot there. Cross it over, bringing the big toe to the floor. Or lean and hook your right foot. So you're sitting between your heels. Lovely. So if that's uncomfortable, much better to have that right leg stretched out in front of you. So hand or elbow gives that knee a little squeeze in. So sitting up nice and tall. If you need to lean forwards to hook the elbow, bring yourself back up. And then inhaling, start to lift the arm, turn the chest. Exhale carries you into that twist. Fingertips find the floor, or again, I'm going to wrap the hand around the low back. Fingertips might find the right waist this time. Sitting up nice and tall there. Again, thinking about just when we were doing our initial twist at the beginning, that inhale lifts you up and the exhale just carries you round. Lovely. One more breath. And then slowly we'll unravel. Fingertips finding the floor. Give the legs a little stretch there. And then walking the heels in towards you. You can either bring the hands to the floor or just hold around the back of the legs as you roll yourself down onto your back. Heels once more quite close in towards your bottom feet. About hip width apart, coming back to our little shoulder bridge, but we're going to build on. So palms flat to the floor. Again, make sure your shoulders are away from your ears. Take an inhale, and as you exhale this time, let's come up into that shoulder bridge. So you might keep it quite low. You might be able to lift up a little higher and maybe even walk your shoulder blades underneath your back, interlacing the hands. So this is a really good one to strengthen the whole of the back seam of the body. We're pressing into the feet. We're squeezing the bottom, sending the knees forwards, bringing your chest up towards your chin. Hips nice and level there. Lovely. Let's see if we can hold for another 2 breaths. If you need to come down, feel free. When you're ready to release, hands come out alongside you. You can lift your heels and keep them lifted as you ripple the spine all the way down. And just pause at the bottom there. Just let everything settle. Lovely. And then we'll bring one knee and then the other in towards the chest there. And you can have a little rock, a little circle there just to release any tension. Option if your back has felt tight, to bring your feet down to the floor as we come into a last twist, or bring the arms out level with the shoulders. You would cactus the arms if you're short of space, and let the knees fall to the right. Lovely. So settling there, palms up towards the ceiling, dropping the weight into that left shoulder, maybe chin rolls to the left. So we can use the right hand to bend the elbow and just bring the right fingertips to that left knee and see if you can draw the knees down towards the floor a little more. Now think about if you've collapsed at the underneath waist, and can you think about lifting that top hip away from you? So you might even feel there's a little lift of the underneath waist. So let's deepen that twist. Obviously, if that's too much, then you just take your knees a little further away from your chest. Lovely, releasing the arms. Use inhale to come all the way back through center. Exhaling over to the left. So remember, the knees can be a lot further away from the chest if that's uncomfortable. Dropping the weight into that right shoulder, maybe chin rolling to right shoulder, and maybe left fingertips coming to that top knee or thigh, gently drawing the knees down at the same time, pressing that top hip away from you. So you might even see if I do it. So there's, I'm not doing it. And then when I do it, I can feel that my underneath waist lifts a little bit. Lovely. Let's do one more breath. And then release. Use an inhale to come all the way to center. One hand on each knee. Again, little massage, little circle. And then bringing the knees to center. Let's squeeze the knees in towards the chest. You might even peel the lower back from the floor. And then peel the upper back up. So nose towards knee. So we're getting a lovely rounding through the back. Upper back getting a stretch. Lower back. Give the knees a little kiss. And then lower the head. Lower the shoulders. And allow the feet to come to the floor. Either feet to floor, nice and wide apart. Inner knees knocking together. Or stretching out one leg and then the other. Having a little roll across the heel there, flip-flopping the feet in and out. And then letting the heels roll in, the toes roll out. If you need to pop off, thank you for coming. I'll see you Sunday perhaps. And if you've got a moment just to finish with me, settling into a comfy position, popping on a jumper or a blanket, having those props to hand. And once more, just letting the back body settle into the mat without altering the natural curvature of the spine, remembering that lovely S shape of the body. And then we'll all just bring the hands just to rest on your lower belly, so just below your belly button there. Slowing your breath down, just noticing the movement of your breath in and out, movement beneath your hands there. Breathing in through the nose and then lengthening the exhalation. Focusing your awareness on the movement beneath your hands, resting on your lower belly. Beginning to visualize your breath now as a wave. The belly rising on the inhalation and falling on the exhalation. So there's no effort, there's no counting needed, it's simply an awareness of the movement of the breath beneath your hands. And let's take a couple more breaths there, encouraging your belly to rise a little more with each extended inhalation. Allowing your exhalation to be soft and quiet and of a similar length. And now just shift your awareness to the back of your body. The space around your lumbar spine, the lowest part of your spine. Take 5 deep breaths here, bringing your awareness to the back of the body on each inhalation and exhalation. Just noticing if the inhalation expands and moves the back of the body. Maybe noticing the lumbar spine dropping into the mat during your inhalation. And then with each exhalation, allowing the back of the body to settle and release. And taking a couple more breaths there, awareness in the back of the body, noticing the movement of the breath around that lumbar spine, pressing gently into the floor as you inhale, and softening as you exhale. When you've taken that last breath, you can keep the hands resting on the lower belly or simply release them down alongside you with the palms facing up towards the ceiling there. Take a couple more breaths there, slowing your roll, getting ready to face the rest of the day, the rest of the weekend, hopefully with that sense of connectedness with your breath, sense of space in the body, space from the week you've just had. So when you're ready, just start to wiggle your fingers, maybe wiggle your toes, maybe take a slow roll across the back of your head. And then if you want to stretch your legs out, take the arms over the top of your head, coming into that full body stretch, feel free. Just pausing to explore and enjoy that whole extent of the body as you reach back. And then when you're ready, walking the heels back in towards you, bringing your knees in towards your chest. And again, sometimes it's nice just to release any tension lying on your back by having a little roll side to side or circling the knees. Before you roll quietly onto one side or the other, left or right, wherever there's space, and slowly come back to a seated position. You, my furry friend. So sitting up nice and tall with your hands just resting on your knees or on your thighs. So start to press your hands down. So lifting up and out of the hips. Lovely. Soften the front body. Press down, straighten the arms, draw the shoulders up towards your ears. Take an inhale. Exhale, heart and chest stay lifted as you soften the shoulders down the back. Let's do that once more. So inhale, almost gather up all of the frustrations of the week. And exhale, let them go. Let them go with the exhale. Keep the shoulders down the back as you just take the arms all the way out and up now. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, let's draw the hands to the heart, the chin to the chest. And wishing one another a peaceful and productive weekend, enjoying the spring sunshine. And namaste. Thank you, thank you. Well, we were undisturbed by feline footprints, apart from the end there. We got away with it, chaps. Thank you.